If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at WePodcast.com. That's WEE Podcast.com, where you can find other episodes of 90s Percentile, our Simpsons podcast, Worst Episode Ever, and our commentary series, Sync Points.
And if you want to help support We Studios and everything we're doing, you can click our links and shop on Amazon. But Jack, we've made it even easier. All you got to do is
press
go
the
to
We Podcast dash button.
That's right, next to your paper towels. Or you can just go to amazon.wepodcast.com. Go there instead of going to amazon.com, and that will help us out. And anything you shop will help support the show.
I don't know. I like the idea of pushing a dash button and a podcast arriving 2 days later.
All right, we're going to work on that and get that out to you.
Thanks, guys.
60 minutes are on the clock, and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and we're talking everything 90s and maybe also just Captain America Civil War.
That's true.
It was a good movie.
We all saw it. I loved it. Is that our topic today? It could be. We could just decide.
We'll seed it in. We don't have a guest.
The topic is Civil War in 1990.
Yeah,
that's the Guns N' Roses song Civil War.
Funny story about the Guns N' Roses Civil War. Did you see Captain America
sure
Civil War?
I sure did.
It was good.
It was great. I loved
it. You liked it a lot more than I did.
I need to watch it again. I've only seen it once at this point, but I want to watch it again. It may be my favorite Marvel movie. We'll see.
It might crack. I was thinking about this morning. It might crack my top 5. It might take like the place of Iron Man. I love Iron Man 1, but it keeps going down the list because as good as it is, it's more fun to just see everybody else teaming up.
Yeah, they've done so much since then.
But I will say this. I would split it up into 2 movies, the Captain America movie and the superheroes beating each other up and teaming up and stuff. Yeah. That part I thought was amazing. The Captain America stuff, I would say Winter Soldier was better.
I don't know. I don't know. I loved Daniel Bruhl. We were talking about this before we started, but I loved Daniel Bruhl, Baron Zemo.
I think they should have called him Dr. Steve Bruhl. I think that would have been a much more interesting...
I was going to do an impression, but I was going to spoil the movie, and I don't want to do that because it's only Monday.
You can't do an impression without spoiling the movie. Have him just say like, well, I'm going to get Captain America, but first I'm going to order a pizza.
First, I gotta go get the thing from the order a pizza. I don't even know what voice this is. Can we start over?
All right, let's do a real topic.
All right, so we've got your
Iron
90s
Man
topics.
3. Let's talk about it.
Shane Black.
Is there a Guns N' Roses song called Iron Man 3?
There was. It was really before its time. It was a follow-up to Black Sabbath's Iron Man, and they just skipped 2 entirely.
And they just predicted the rise of Guy Pearce.
Yeah, it was. That's how it started. It was like, we're predicting the rise of Guy Pearce.
You liked him in L.A. Confidential. He'll be the villain in Iron Man 3.
That was the chorus. Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3.
He's going to be the villain in Iron Man 3.
Probably not going to be in Iron Man 4.
Sorry, let's just not pick a topic today and we'll just go.
And let's just sing Iron Man 3 by Guns N' Roses for the next. It's a 60-minute track. People don't realize
there was a hidden track at the end.
Track 12. What was track 12? It was that 3-minute song.
Oh, it was going down to the flower shop.
Going down to the flower shop. It was also predicting the rise of the Room.
Yep.
And then there's like 30 seconds of silence, and then for 60 more minutes it plays Iron Man 3.
It was a double album they had to do because CDs only held 74 minutes of music. It was tough.
Slash really thought it was a bad idea. It's actually what broke up the band. People don't realize this.
That's true. And then, it was interesting because Slash wanted to get out of music because he was so into his Slash fiction that he was writing all the time.
He didn't want to conjecture an Iron Man 3 because anything could go wrong. Guy Pearce could die in a car accident. He just does a few stinkers and he doesn't get the... But what he really wanted to do was take the existing characters of Iron Man,
and Guy Pearce,
and Guy Pearce, and just have them have sex
and have them smooch a little bit.
Yeah, that's why he came out with his solo album, Steers, which is what he calls Pierce and Stark's
of course,
shipping. Steers.
Of course, Steers.
And everybody's like, what is it? Is it Steers?
Guyone Steers.
Like, what is Guyone Steers? And he's like, it's going to be amazing. Trust me.
Our first topic today, Guyone Steers.
He won a lot. He got the 80-piece orchestra.
Yeah. It's funny that usually we're not this insane and kind of off the rails until much later in the show. And we're also recording this early in the morning as opposed to late at night.
Usually if we record late at night, we're kind of punch drunk from work and we're a little loopy. And in this case, we're punch drunk from staying up and watching Captain America 3 and then then waking up 6 hours later to do a podcast.
Yeah, so lots of stuff going on. All right. We
got a topic?
We got a topic, a real topic. Your 90s topic.
It's not Guione Steers?
It's not Guione Steers, although maybe he'll come up organically later.
Like everything else does.
Guione Steers is the most absurd name.
Oh, there's probably some listener right now named Guione Steers like, what's so funny about that name? I come from a proud tradition of
The
Steers.
Steers family has... The Guione's been a name for generations. If you're Guione Steers, please write into the show.
And
We'll have you on.
You're
immediately.
instant guest.
Instant guest. We have a shirt with
Unless
your name on
you're like a neo-Nazi or something. He's like, Guione Steers like, finally a platform for my anti-Semitic worldview.
90s Percentile. What happened? What happened to our fun little show? Okay, I've got a real topic, and if you have a topic you'd like to submit, you can go to 90spercentile.wordpress.com and submit one there, or just go to our subreddit, which is r/worst episode ever. Okay, our first topic from Mr. Spider Clown, longtime listener.
Unlike Spider-Man,
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Although he was clowning around a little bit in Civil War, huh?
Spoilers.
All right.
We don't want to. He was clowning around. All right, we
clowning
already
around.
made the spoiler.
Spider-Man
There
is
it
in the movie.
and he
as
clowns around.
The trailer definitely showed you. The topic from Mr. Spider Clown, the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, okay.
Squeaking in as of 1999 movie, I believe.
Okay. Blair Witch Project.
We've both seen it, right?
I saw it much later. I saw it. I
also
in
saw it
that
later.
like 3-4 year period where I was doing Netflix discs. So like 2000, somewhere between like 2007 and 2010.
That's actually probably when I saw it too. Around then.
yeah.
Why didn't we watch it together, Jack? I'm a little hurt.
I don't know, but I know this piece of trivia off the top of my head before we look it up.
Okay.
It was at the time the highest grossing independent film of all time, and it dethroned the 9-year record holder, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ah, interesting.
And then maybe Passion of the Christ might have dethroned it.
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, because Blair Witch was very cheap to make. I think they spent like we could look.
Oh yeah,
up.
if you're
we should look up
talking
the
in
facts.
terms of profit.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking total box office.
I guess.
As far as an independent
I
movie.
guess maybe I don't know what the record actually was. Maybe it was in terms of net profit. But I think Passion of the Christ only cost like $12 million to make.
Well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. So for Blair Witch Project, came out July 30th, 1999. Budget $60,000.
Jesus
Not that much.
Christ.
Not that much.
That's how much 3 minutes of 90s percentile costs.
Yeah, it's true. That whole Guione Steers
We
thing.
have to pay
that
for the
cost us-
copyright.
Yeah.
Guione Steers is like that Happy Birthday family, very strict, easy,
yes.
or like the late
Mildred
great
Pierce.
Prince. Yeah,
Yeah.
very
litigious.
Strict. Yeah,
Very
very litigious.
litigious.
Does not want you saying Guione Steers on the air. Every time we
Well,
say
you
it,
did
that's
call him a neo-Nazi. Just, that's the defamation suit.
That's defamation.
That's what that'll
That
go
costs
to.
money.
Yeah. But no, $60,000 was the budget for Blair Witch. Do you want to take a guess at how much it made total box office?
Okay, so adjusting for inflation because now everything makes like $600 million because it's in 3D and shit.
Right. This is the worldwide. Worldwide. What do you think it made?
1.1 billion. That seems high.
That's way high. I mean, that
Again,
would be amazing on
I
a
know.
$60,000 budget.
I'm just still clouded by like today's box
Right,
office.
we're
where
thinking-
fucking Gods of Egypt eventually makes $1 billion. 490 million.
All right, it was $248 million, which is a lot in
I
1999.
know. My high guess is kind of took the air out of that.
You
balloon.
did. I thought you'd be like, oh, surely it made $100,000. It only made $40,000.
Made the candy bar. Somebody just bartered. It's like, can I see that found footage movie? I've got a candy bar.
And they're like, sure you can, kid. Is it $100,000? There's one for you and one for me. Because you get two in a package. I don't know what voice this is.
Snickers is doing that now. I don't appreciate it.
Oh, really? It's
like-
like you get less.
You get less,
There's,
first of all.
there's a little air pocket between those two.
They're also smaller. And it's frustrating because if I want like a double kind of candy bar thing, I'll get a Twix.
Right, of
there's
course.
options for that.
That is
but if
the
I
natural-
want a Snickers bar, I
Yeah.
want a Snickers bar.
Right.
And now they have like, I think we've discussed this on other podcasts, but everything has flavors now. Everything has 30 goddamn different kinds of varieties.
Right. Oreos, especially. Like there's
Oreos and
tons of
Cheerios,
Oreos.
I would say, are the two big examples.
I've seen cookies and
And
cream
M&Ms.
flavored Oreos.
That doesn't make sense. They are cookies
It's
and
just
cream.
like there's more cookie in the cream. Who the hell wants that?
That would be like the Department of Agriculture coming out with apple flavored apples. Now with more apple.
Sometimes my apples don't taste so good. Apples aren't gold, Jack.
That's a long story. We'll just leave that. That's a clue, like Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man.
There you go.
It'll pay off in 8 years.
Yeah, right.
No, I there's a kiosk downstairs in the lobby of my office building, and they sell candy, and there was like 4 or 5 different kinds of Snicker bars.
Yeah.
And I've been really into Rocky Road Nut, which has marshmallow in it. I'm a big marshmallow guy.
Snickers with marshmallow, but
yeah.
that's not even a Snickers anymore. I don't even know what that is.
It more or less is. I guess it tastes a little bit more like a Three Musketeers. But,
Yes.
But I like that. But then I saw crispy Milky Way. I was like, ooh, that's interesting because my
Crispy Milky Way.
Yeah, because my number one, hands down, number one candy bar is Kit Kat.
Okay.
Crunch is close second, but Kit Kat is if I could only eat one candy bar the rest of my life, it's Kit Kat.
Man, that's a great question. I actually don't know what mine. Mine might be Snickers.
Snickers is down there.
I actually really like 100 Grand also.
I'm not a huge Snickers fan.
Really?
I like
Twix.
Does Snickers have peanut butter?
No, it's peanut and
it has
nougat.
caramel and peanut and nougat. For whatever reason, just the flavors, it goes well, but it doesn't blow me away. It's almost like it's too many flavors competing for each other.
I'm someone who does not eat a lot of candy bars.
I'm
in general
a big candy bar guy.
I'm not. I like chocolate. Everybody likes chocolate, but I'm not like a huge chocolate guy.
I'm a big chocolate guy, and I'm a big candy bar guy.
If I'm at the vending machine, I'm probably getting like Skittles or Starburst or something like that.
I'll only if the mood strikes me, I'll go for like a fruity candy like that. And if I'm gonna go for
what candy you calling fruity?
And
come on, man, Jack.
If I'm in a not chocolate mood, I almost always go for either gummy bears or fruit snacks.
Gummy bears, always a solid choice.
But I had them yesterday when I watched Captain America: Civil War.
Very nice. Which was a movie much like the Blair Witch Project.
And I love chocolate, but I do not care for Muddy Bears, which are the chocolate-covered gummy bears.
Yeah.
Again, too many flavors competing for each other. Yeah. Anyway, I like Snickers. I love it. So I see crispy Snickers. I'm like, okay, great. And I open it up, and it's 2 like thumb-sized squares of I don't know what. It just tastes like a Snickers bar. There was barely any crisp to it. Yeah. I also don't like crispy M&Ms. So there's just something about whatever they're calling crisp that doesn't jive with me.
I like the crispy M&Ms. I like the pretzel M&Ms better, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The pretzel ones are okay.
They also have birthday cake M&Ms now. What the fuck is that? Like, why do they need so many flavors?
I think Cold Stone, unless it's just a coincidence, I think Cold Stone was like the ice cream place was the one that introduced the birthday cake flavor to the masses.
Birthday cake remix,
and then
was
now everything is birthday cake Oreos and.
Yeah.
It is good.
And then there's cookies and cream birthday cake Oreos with Snickers crisps.
And then the other candy bar I tried was peanut butter Snickers because I do like peanut butter.
I hate peanut butter, so I'm out.
Yeah, I'm a big peanut butter guy. So I tried that. And again, it was the 2 squares. And I was like, come on. At least the Rocky Road and the Midnight's Milky Way. At least the Rocky Road Snickers was a bar.
So when you say it's 2 squares, there's like what are we talking? Because Snickers is usually, it looks like a turd. It's like a long oblong.
These look more like almost like bigger, fatter versions of when you open up a box of chocolates and there's it's like Forrest Gump says, life is like a box of chocolates.
Right.
It looks like the Snickers Krispies that haven't been invented yet.
There you go.
Famous line.
It was weird that he said that. Yeah. It was a lot like
Slash wrote that line.
I knew it.
He contributed to the script uncredited.
Uncredited rewrite.
WGA rules. It was the one line, so they couldn't credit him.
Slash.
He's multi-talented.
Our nation's greatest writer.
I thought you could say he's our nation's Nostradamus.
Is that too?
Although that doesn't make sense. I think we were saying that Slash didn't agree with the Iron Man 3 prophecies. So
I don't remember what we were saying, but I do want to actually bring things back to the Blair Witch Project. Yeah. I want to talk about it. Do you like the Blair Witch Project, Jack?
So I saw it. It was scary.
Let's say this. It was a hugely influential movie. It basically created found footage as a genre of horror movie.
This sounds silly to say because it was such a cultural phenomenon when it came out, and it was parodied almost as much as The Matrix.
Yep.
And it was just around for years. So this sounds silly to say, but let's explain what the plot briefly is for people who haven't seen it, because I have a feeling younger audiences just haven't seen it. It kind of just came and went. It's not as a cultural milestone as you would have thought from how big it was at the time.
So you don't think it has a legacy?
I don't think that, like, maybe film buff teens and maybe the type of pop culture nerd teens that listen to our show are on board. But I bet you if I went to, say, my 17-year-old niece or my 17-year-old cousin, she might be like, oh, no, I've never seen it. What's that about?
I think you're probably
I don't
right.
think they realize that it's, if not the first found footage movie, definitely the one that launched the entire genre that they do know very well.
Right. I think Blair Witch was unique in its time because here's the plot of the movie. It's a film made by these 3 documentary filmmakers. They go to this town to track down the Blair Witch. It was like a legend in this town.
And like I said, it's all found footage.
Right. It's all their documentary footage. I think it probably even starts with, they were lost on whatever date.
Yeah.
Someone recovered their footage. Here it is.
Right.
I don't know who edited it. I never know with these found footage movies who's actually putting all
There's
this
one
footage
guy
together.
that edits all the movies. He's really
And
depressed.
his name is Guione Steers.
Guione Steers, the neo-Nazi editor. He's very bummed because people just keep giving him this footage, and he's just
Yeah.
like, guys, can I get like
Stop
one?
finding so much footage, guys.
Can I get some footage that just ends in a happy-go-lucky?
Yeah.
Is Rachel getting married found footage? I don't think so. I think it's
don't
just
think so.
documentary style. So he's just, he's just like, guys, you gave me the movie with that monster attacked New York. You gave me,
Yeah, right.
You gave me that footage where Apollo 18 existed.
Right,
and,
where those kids go visit their grandparents.
Yeah, it's like, can I just get one fun found
Yeah.
footage and just, that was I'm glad I found that. That was a nice happy ending to that story.
Never happened. Sorry, Guione.
I think that's what bent him, drove him to his
to
horrible
neo-Nazism?
future. Yeah.
Oh. Well, the Blair Witch Project, it was, and it's just kind of, it's a very, very slow movie, I would say. It's a slow burn kind of movie. Like
Yeah,
Paranormal Activity is kind of the same
Yeah.
way.
But since it was,
And
there
definitely
weren't
owes a lot to
really
Blair Witch.
movies like that. I mean, there were definitely slow burn horror movies, but
No, this was,
the fact that it was found footage, the fact that it was the first found footage, the first one most people had seen,
Yeah.
definitely lent a lot of weight to it because it does. The reason found footage is so popular is because you do feel like it's more real. The suspension
well-
of disbelief is much stronger.
and that was definitely true when this movie came out because a lot of people thought
it
this
was
was
real.
real. They thought it was, actually,
I
the
might
marketing pushed that aspect. I
think
remember we
was
were in high
unsure.
school. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, wait, so is this real or not?
Because
And
this was a time when the internet was not
Yeah, you
as
couldn't just
big. It wasn't
Google-
the same as it was.
there was
as
no
it is now.
there was no Reddit full of people just going, no, asshole.
Right.
That's fucking
Yeah, it was just
fake, you fucking asshole.
all we had was and thanks
That's
Reddit
my
for
impression
calling
of,
us out.
That's my impression of Reddit.
There you go. That's not wrong. There was just a bunch of GeoCities websites back in the day that would just be like, no, it's totally real.
And it would
Here's a
have-
dancing Jesus gif.
Here's a Spider-Man to make you gay.
The old internet was a weird place.
I'm glad we were the pioneers. I'm
Yeah.
glad we weren't the pioneers.
Remember there was a website called MrT8MyBalls.com?
No.
I think it still exists. I'm going to check and see if it is.
That might be a topic. Somebody might have put that in there.
It could be. I don't know. It was just
Is it like a dancing Mr. T gif of eating
Kind of.
testicles?
like a meme of just Mr. T ate my balls.
Huh.
It's just, it's a bunch of just pictures of Mr. T saying, give me your balls, fool. Damn, them balls is good.
What's the font? Does this predate
It's
the
like-
meme font?
That is
yeah.
old shit.
Yeah, wow, geosites.
Yeah.
Remember everybody had
Anyway.
that style of avatar where they had like the big baby face heads?
The big baby
It wasn't
face
quite
heads.
anime. It was like everybody had avatars and they were like, it was very 90s with like the loose clothing and everything.
I do remember that, yes.
But they had like big heads and like kind of squinty eyes and they were kind of baby faced.
I remember that. I don't know how
then-
widespread that was. I think that might have been a Palace thing.
Oh, really?
That was our.
I thought that I feel like
was a chat thing
I
that we
guess
used.
So I thought it was like a geosite.
Maybe it was.
thing.
I don't know. It could have been.
All right.
But yeah, Blair Witch probably has not aged very well. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've seen
the
it
plot.
once.
The plot. They were going through the woods,
yeah.
and then basically they get killed off one by one, or they go missing
no,
one by one.
they get lost together,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
kind of there's tension between them,
There's
and
spooky
it's what's going on. They
sounds,
hear shit.
People are leaving like crazy rock
right,
formations.
right, and they end up finding, I guess, the house where the Blair Witch lived, and they don't make it out.
And I'll say this: the last scene, spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean-
the last scene is she's like running around in the house, and she finds one of the guys that had went missing, and he's just staring in the corner,
Yeah.
like in a weird vegetative state, just staring with his back to her in
Yeah.
the corner. That was very unsettling. That
Very
was a
unsettling.
scary scene.
Absolutely, completely agree.
And now I feel like you see a lot of that in the post-Juon Grudge J horror
Yeah,
tropes.
yeah.
So now we're kind of desensitized to it. But that was a pretty scary image.
Agreed. And I think what's really interesting about Blair Witch is the guys that made it never captured any amount of that success again. I think their
Well,
names...
they made Blair Witch 2. They said it was going to be like a trilogy or a franchise.
I don't think they did make Blair Witch 2.
Oh, the studio made it?
I'm pretty sure. We'll talk about Blair Witch 2 in a second. But yeah, Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. I think the next movie they made was called Lovely Molly, and it came out in 2007.
Horror?
Yeah, a horror movie. No one saw it. I think it's on Netflix.
Maybe they're
if you wanna
just
check it out.
really rich and just enjoying Mai Tais.
I mean,
on
I'm
the
sure they're
beach.
really rich because you don't make $248 million on $60,000 without getting to keep some of that
kind of cut. Yeah.
chingle
I would-
chingle.
At least I'd hope so.
Yeah.
I don't put it past the studios to be
That's-
like,
that's true.
No.
That's true. But they also did, or at least Eduardo Sanchez did, a segment in one of the VHS movies, which VHS 3 aside, I love those movies. They're found
Segments.
footage.
They're short.
They're found
vignettes?
footage anthology horror movies.
Okay.
And if you haven't checked them out, I think their segment is in VHS 2, which is really good.
VHS 2, Super VHS.
Are you joking? Because
No.
I think it was originally titled Super VHS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are aware of the Super VHS format for that to be a
I know.
useful title.
I mean, kids today don't even know what VHS is.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know about VCRs and nothing.
They don't.
They don't. They don't know about Blair Witch Project. And that was only 17
you
years
ever
ago.
Watch, I'm really into like old movies because my mom is, and
Yeah.
like I like almost every Saturday morning I would wake up kind of early and groggy, and I would just sit down on the couch in the living room, and my mom would have like AMC on, and she'd be watching like some old like black and white movie, and I would just kind of sit there and watch it until I woke up.
Right.
So. Did you ever watch those old movies and you're like, man, the quality, the sound quality is kind of poor, but you just kind of get used to it and you get past. I wonder if, I guess kids today, if they look at anything that's like standard def, like not HD, if they're just like, man, this is really crummy.
Yeah, well, a lot of things that were filmed on film, they can upconvert to
HD.
To HD.
Okay. So I guess they're not really seeing a lot of standard def.
I mean,
Medium.
you'd have to
Media.
seek out like an unpopular movie that would not have been upconverted.
Although I just read something recently where they I forget what it was, but they were saying how we're kind of okay with shitty imaging because YouTube and stuff. Everybody's streaming shit on their phone, and even if it's a 4K screen, your iPhone 6 can do a 4K whatever.
Yeah.
Because of streaming, it's always lesser quality, but it still looks better than VHS. So I guess that's not the best.
Yeah. I mean,
metric.
I guess it depends on where you live and how strong your internet connection is, and there's a lot of things that go into
Well,
the
in New York
streaming.
City, internet is fucking terrible.
In the United States, internet is
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
We're like one of the lowest quality
And
internet
I'm
nations.
like up 3 levels now on my internet. I'm paying like $90 a month for
you
internet.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I want like the fastest possible internet, and it's still so fucking slow and terrible.
Jeez.
Yeah. It
Yikes.
sucks.
Well, before we stop talking about Blair Witch, I do want to mention Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2,
Okay.
which came out in 2000. They had nothing to do with it, the original creators.
Yeah,
it was a cash
it's
grab.
not a found footage movie. It's,
No, have you seen it?
no. I remember
Okay.
the trailer looked terrible.
I
And
have
this was
seen it.
before I was like a real movie nerd.
Yeah.
Like artsy fartsy.
I actually think I saw it before I saw Blair Witch because it has nothing to do with it.
I thought it was about the killer, and he's a 16-year-old kid, or
No, I don't think so. Unless I'm horribly misremembering this movie.
I'm just basing this on.
I don't know that has anything to do with the Blair Witch, except it's just another group of people in the woods, and it was like something about the book of Iversera or something, and it was like just reverse backwards, and like a bunch of shit happens in backwards, and it's just none of it makes sense. It's not good. It's not
sounds
worth looking
dumb.
up. The only thing that was popular about that movie was the soundtrack, which was filled with new metal bands, like I'm sure Godsmack was in there
Linkin
or
Park,
something.
Disturbed. Disturbed probably did a cover of like Scarborough Fair. Ah, you're coming to Scarborough Fair.
That's where they first began.
Fair. Scarborough Fair.
He turned into a Dalek at the end. Scarborough Fair. Yeah, Godhead, POD, Rob Zombie, System of a Down, Marilyn
Wow.
Manson, Nickelback.
Wow.
At the drive-in, a little out of place there. Ark Arsenal apparently was on the
Oh, I love Ark Arsenal. That's
Me
a
too.
great track.
But anyway, not a good movie. But
yeah.
the first one is. I would check it out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, and maybe we should talk about the parodies. But first, I guess because I don't know when else, this is probably the best topic to bring up the Paranormal Activity movies.
Sure.
Because none of them are in the.
They're not 90s.
Are they any of them even the 2010s? When did the first one? come out?
First one was 2007, I believe.
Really? No,
Yeah.
it had to be like 2009. Because I remember. All right, here's why I'm very visual minded with my memory. I remember a friend of the show, Jeff, picking me up from work so we could go see it.
Yeah.
And the work he picked me up at, I was definitely not at in 2007. He was picking me up from the OTB on Forest Avenue.
I'm Wikipediaing Paranormal Activity. It took me to Paranormal, which is not what I
No,
want.
that's not it.
There's not even
Anyway,
like
the
an
reason I want to bring
ambiguation.
them up is because they get a lot of flack.
2009. You were right. You're
Okay,
right.
they get a lot of flack, especially the sequels. I love the Paranormal Activity movies, especially the first one.
I loved the first one and the
I
third
was
one, actually.
scared shitless in the theater when I saw it. Like I was
Yeah.
like, it's one of the few times, if ever, maybe The Descent, I could ever remember actually like covering up my eyes and like
Right.
that trope of just like that cliche of like, oh, I can't watch. I'm
Yeah.
never like that. I love watching, and there were times where like, it was great because the way the director would prod you into doing this is in the movies are split up in day, night.
Yeah.
Say day number 1, night number 1. And every time it would go, like once the shit started happening, so now it's like night number 4 and a title screen would come up. I just immediately was like, oh no.
Yeah,
I can't.
oh, no. There's just dread that builds
there's
up.
dread.
Yeah.
And you're just like waiting for that day respite. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's such great filmmaking that they, with just a fucking title card, they can make me get on edge.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity 2, I think, obviously diminishing returns, but I was just as scared, a little less scared. I was pretty scared in the theater. The rest I saw either on video
I watched at
or
home.
I think lately now I'll watch them, the new ones on Netflix on my iPhone in bed, so that like my girlfriend's there and I'm just like,
She's like, oh, honey.
yeah, exactly, because I do get kind of spooked.
Yeah. I hated Paranormal Activity 4, and I didn't finish the marked ones because I was not into it at
Marked
all.
ones I really like. That's probably my second
Really?
or third favorite.
Maybe I'll rewatch it. But
4 was bad. I think, was there a 5?
marked ones was 5. And then there's
6.
also...
Is there a 6?
There was a spin-off
Yeah.
in Japan. It was
no,
Paranormal Activity
there's
Tokyo Night or something.
There's a postmark one that came out.
Oh, yeah, the Ghost Dimension.
Yeah, that one was okay.
I did not see that
it
one.
Stars a guy that starred in one of my student films.
Oh, really?
Well,
Cool.
it was somebody else's student film that I wrote.
Nice. But here's the thing with horror movies and the kids today. Well, maybe not even the kids today, but there's really two types of horror movies. There's the ones that are just like slasher, gore, violence, and then there's the ones...
the 3D animated ones.
Yeah, there's Shrek, which is horrible. It's just horrors.
The dread when it just would say Shrek, the title screen, just filled with that.
Shrek the Fourth? Oh, no.
Is there a Shrek the Fourth? There's not a...
It's Shrek 4 Ever After.
Is there a 5?
There's Shrek 5.
Really?
We're running out of ideas.
I remember them saying they were going to do a Shrek 5, and then I thought maybe they didn't because 4 didn't do well.
It really is no Shrek 5, but I'm positive they will make another one.
Oh, I'm sure.
But here's the point. There's like violent horror movies and then kind of the more psychological and disturbing, I guess, horror movies. Maybe disturbing is not the right word. That I would lump Paranormal Activity and what's the actual topic? Blair Witch
Project.
Even like The Shining, I would probably lump in with those movies.
That's maybe my favorite horror movie. It's definitely top 5.
Because they're the ones that are like something is wrong.
Yeah.
And we're not getting the fallout right away. Like with a Friday the 13th movie, maybe not the first one, but the later ones, it's like someone gets killed,
Right.
a next person gets killed. It's like, how are they going to stop this crazy madman?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I like both. I like both types of horror
I would
movies.
almost classify that the first kind of horror, the psychological horror, as a horror thriller. Because the thrills comes from what happens next.
Yeah, I think you'd be right. So horror, thriller, and like more psychological horror, I guess, is what the divide would be.
I guess, but I mean, there's lots of different ways to categorize them. But
No, there's only one way, and this is it.
Well, here's the one way that horror, thriller, horror, action. So Jason movies, you might not consider it action because our idea of action now is a city has to blow up in the third act.
Right.
But it's, your chase scenes and fighting and...
I guess. I don't know if I would say horror action.
Like
what's a horror action movie? You think that...
H2O, Halloween 20 years later, where Jamie Lee Curtis grabs an axe and is like, Michael, let's do this. That's a very action movie type trope.
I never saw H2O. I
don't know if that scene's actually in there, but LL Cool J does get... presumably killed, and then you find out he's okay in the end. Though it's one of the
one of the
LL
rare
Cool J,
times.
No, one of the every LL Cool J movies ever.
Ladies love him. I guess Freddy vs. Jason is kind of like a horror action movie.
That's almost a horror action comedy.
Kind of, yeah. Jason X, another horror action-ish comedy.
That's
mess / weirdo.
I love Jason X.
Unique, one-of-a-kind movie.
We saw Jason X in the theater.
We sure did.
We played the penis game.
We sure
where
did.
We each pick a word and would yell out penis every time I said, what was mine? Hockey mask?
One of them is machete.
Mine was machete.
Yeah.
And it came up way more than I expected.
Yeah, we were annoying teenagers who were yelling penis in the back of a movie theater.
Let's bring it back down to Civil War, Captain America 3. So I don't...
When we played the penis game where I was Cap and you were Iron Man.
Well, this was the first movie I've seen on opening night in years.
Mm-hmm.
I avoid movies on opening night like the plague because, for one thing, I don't like crowds.
Me neither.
But
I don't like children and like teenagers, and that's who goes to the movies.
And if I do, sometimes there is a fun in seeing a movie with a crowd, but it's got to be a like-minded crowd who knows not to fucking talk during the movie and shit.
Yep.
So the only time I really enjoy being with a crowd would be in like Manhattan with a more adult, mature audience.
Sure.
And during times of day where teenagers and stuff wouldn't be around.
There's nothing but crusty old white people in Manhattan going to see movies and being like, I really enjoyed Robert Downey Jr.'s performance.
I used to see a lot of indie indie movies during the day, and it was
Yeah.
always all
And, like, the Angelica or
80-year-olds
something?
and me.
Yeah.
It was like I was the only non-80-year-old. Anyway, I tried to see it in the city, but I knew it was going to sell out quick. That's the other reason I don't see them on opening night in Manhattan.
Right.
In
It's
Manhattan,
im-
you cannot see any
If
movie.
you haven't bought your tickets
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ahead of time, you're
Yeah.
not seeing
and that's
the movie.
not just for Captain America. That's for like any movie
Yeah.
that just comes out. There's not a lot of seats in the theaters, and there's millions of people jam packed in there.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't want to see it in our local theater, which is like not only filled with obnoxious teenagers, but it's run by.
It's run by
I've never
teenagers,
seen
yeah.
a person over the age of 18 working there.
It's just child labor
Yeah,
from top to bottom.
It's like Newsies, or what was that movie with all kids?
Newsies was a movie with all kids.
Yeah, so it was like except if all the Newsies were just obnoxious.
Yeah. I think they were. I never saw Newsies.
Anyway, I didn't really want to do it, but I was like, all right. For one thing, my girlfriend does not have any free time coming up, and the other thing is I didn't want any spoilers. So I was like, let's just see it. Let's bite the bullet and see it, even though it'll be filled with teenagers.
Yeah.
And it was. And there was like 3 girls behind me, and they were all talking about like the Doctor Strange, the movie trailer.
Yeah.
And one part was like, it's nice to see teenage girls who are unapologetic, like cool comic book nerds and stuff. It's like,
Sure.
It's like, okay, we're breaking down barriers, we're breaking down stereotypes.
Yeah.
Then I was just
It's
like,
cool now.
And I was like, all right, you're talking during the movie, fine. I mean, but you're talking before the movie that started. That's fine.
Right.
Just talking during the trailers.
Talking about the trailers bothers me, but
it's like socially acceptable.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
feel justified in being like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like starting to get irritated, and then the
Yeah.
movie starts, and then it's just like, all right. So
they were still talking
yeah,
during the
they
movie.
talked the entire time, and I started
no.
looking back, like I'm aware of you, and you're annoying me without saying anything. I just would give him
Right.
that like nod back. I started
you
like
give him the
going-
old be quiet nod.
Then I had to do a couple of. Then she said something really loud, and I did I couldn't control myself. I just did a quick swipe
Oh,
back,
no.
and then I went back, and then I heard the other girl say, "Why are you angry?" And I was just like, how do I respond? do I,
And that's when you left the movie,
because
so you don't know how it
so
ends.
I don't know how it ends. This was 3 minutes of the movie. I don't know anything. How was the title card?
Ah, it was so good.
Oh, man.
It was like the best title card
No.
Marvel's done.
Was it night number 2?
Yeah, and then the dread
filled
began.
with dread. No,
With the Winter Soldier came
and it
back
sucked
and
because
stood in the
now it's
corner.
like, all right, do I come out and just say you guys got to shut up, and
Right.
then it's super awkward because they're behind me,
Yeah.
or do I just let it go and I feel like a fucking asshole? Yeah, so I let it go. I felt like an asshole. So that was really annoying. And then there were other kids talking, and it was these girls. At least their comments were kind of like whatever. At least it wasn't. I think maybe Age of Ultron this happened to us, but where you get just rowdy kids who just don't give a shit about the movie.
Right,
and
they're just
fucking
screaming.
around.
Someone
Yeah.
brought a baby to my screen. My 10 o'clock screening of Civil War. There was a baby.
I'll get back. I just want to finish my point, and then I got to tell my.
Okay, tell your baby story.
Anyway, it's the worst when they're just really loud and obnoxious, and they're just having a good time, and they don't give a shit about the movie. They don't give a shit about the people around them.
Yeah.
And I get so angry. And then I was just like, you know what? That was us. It's karma. We were totally ruining the movie for everybody around us.
So, were you going to tell the story about Spider-Man? Is that what you're going to say?
real quick,
Oh, can I tell the story about Spider-Man?
Okay, yeah.
So speaking of how terrible we were as teenagers in the movie, so we went to see Spider-Man,
By the
first
way,
one.
By the way, that dates us right there. That we were old enough to see Spider-Man by ourselves. They were two
man, you're
10-year-olds next to me watching Captain America.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's in the movie. Spoilers.
Right.
And at the end of the movie, they were just like, "That Spider-Man sucked. What a wimp!" And it's just like their only knowledge of Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield.
Oh no!
Amazing Spider-Man came out when they were like 5.
Oh no!
So they like the cools.
Didn't it come out like yesterday? Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
Is this what people feel like as they get
Yes,
older? Everything's
yes,
just
exactly.
like everything's terrible.
Like Spider-Man 3 came out 9 years ago, so these kids may not have been born when Spider-Man 3 came out. And they were just like, man,
Jesus.
one kid was just like, that was a terrible performance of Spider-Man.
10-year-olds are so opinionated these days.
Well, Brooklyn 10-year-olds for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, so that made me feel really old.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay. But yeah, when we saw Spider-Man, the first one, the 2002 one, in theaters, slight spoilers for Spider-Man, but not really. His Uncle Ben dies in the movie. When there's like a really serious scene where Aunt May and Peter are talking, and I think Peter's crying, and he's like, I could have saved him, and he's gone, man. I'm Tobey Maguire. I'm so whiny.
And he's like, it's okay. I'm very old. I'm not Marissa Tomei.
I'm very old.
I'm very old.
I
and
thought it was a bold
decrepit.
choice to have every other line be, I'm very old.
Peter, you gotta do your homework. I'm very old.
Real smart move for Sam Raimi's camp there. But no, it's this really important serious scene, and I don't remember who said it, but there was something in the periodic table of elements was in the background of this scene.
Oh, and maybe in his bedroom.
In his bedroom. And one of us, it was us and a group of our friends from high school, one of us just said to another, "What's the atomic weight of bologna?"
Which is a line from a post-classic Simpsons episode.
No.
Right?
That's from, I don't remember what episode it's from
thought it
right
was
now.
from like a
I'm not
season
in
9,
Simpsons
season
mode, Jack.
10.
This is our 90s show.
Well, anyway,
It's a Simpsons line, and we all started cracking up, and people turned around because this was like, everyone's crying. It's like very quiet in the theater.
I think we mucked up the line. I think somebody was like, "What's the atomic weight of some?" Oh no, we just didn't say the punchline. So he said, "What's the atomic weight of bologna?" And then I said, "Well, I did one of them. I think I said delicious." And
it's like,
it was either
delicious.
me or JP, and so I did my Martin Prince voice. I was like, delicious. And we all just
we all lost it. We started laughing,
and we're trying to be polite. We're trying to restrain the laughter.
Right, but it's tough.
But that makes it funnier.
We're stupid kids, and the fact that you're not supposed to be laughing right now makes it so much funnier.
Because it was a really sad, dramatic scene. She's like, "I'm so old."
And he's dead, and I'm so old.
And it's so hard. I've had this multiple times, especially in class, when like you're trying not to laugh with 5 other guys.
Of course.
Now it's just like it's like when you really have to pee, it just hurts.
Yeah, that's the best time to laugh is when you can't laugh.
And then once one person breaks,
right, it was all of us, and it was like 6 or 7 of us, and I'm not mixing it up, right? This was the same time where somebody
either a row or 2 rows behind us, like they kind of like shut up, and we couldn't stop.
Yeah,
like,
we couldn't stop
up,
laughing,
and they threw
fruit punch at us,
like a 40-ounce plastic cup full of fruit punch. And it hit the one guy who was being quiet.
Yes, it hit the one polite person, and mostly hit the people behind us.
Yeah, or in front of. I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
And so everybody just hated us.
Yeah. So we used to be those assholes. Really quick, I have another funny movie story. It was when I saw Red Dragon in the theaters. Actually, now I have two funny movie stories.
I don't have a story, but my Red Dragon story is that was the day after I first got contact lenses, and I forgot to put them in, and I had to watch the whole movie blind.
You're just like, huh?
What?
So I saw Red Dragon in the theaters. I think I saw it with Mike, past and future 90s Percentile guest, Mike Genero.
He was not a past. Oh, yeah, he was a past.
He's past.
Okay, yeah.
These 2 men who were like probably in their 50s got into a fist fight in the middle of Red Dragon because one of them kicked the other's seat, and like they both had huge egos and they wouldn't let it go.
I saw a fist fight with previous guest on the same episode as Mike Tom. I saw a fist fight in Hannibal.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
What is it about these Hannibal Lecter movies that are causing people to fight?
It was either a laser pointer or something. But there was these 2 guys and in their way in the front, and then they got up and started fighting in the aisle.
Well, it was funny. They were both on aisle seats, and they get up and they start fighting, and they're both with their wives, and their wives are both like, "Stop it! What are you doing? You're gonna kill yourself!" It was amazing. But then my absolute favorite movie fight story was I went to see The Condemned. Which is the Stone Cold Steve Austin movie with Vinnie Jones, where it's just a bunch of convicts on an island. It's like Battle Royal.
Okay.
It's a decent action movie. I saw it with Jeff, actually. Also past and future 90s Percentile guest. So it's a movie about violence. It's a super violent movie. And these 2 guys, like, you can hear them in the back. They're getting into a fight. And everyone is just like, "Shut the fuck up. We're all trying to watch the movie." And they calm down. The movie ends, and the one guy gets up and punches the other guy in the face. He waited until the movie ended.
That's very polite
and then
of
they
him.
started like brawling over the seats.
I have to give that guy credit because you're not ruining the movie for everybody else. You're holding it in.
So he must have been watching the whole movie the whole time, being like, "I'm going to punk that fucking guy in the face."
I have 3 movie stories. Which one do you want to hear? I've got Scarface. I've got Creed.
Okay.
And I've got Kicking and Screaming, the Will Ferrell soccer movie.
Let's go Creed. I want to hear the Creed.
Creed was the first one I wanted to say. So
we talked about Creed
last week. You were talking
week.
about a crying baby. I didn't have a crying baby. I had an old woman.
Okay.
I'm so old. No, she was coughing. She was like, "Ah! And she was in the very back row, and I'm just like, and at first we're like, "Oh man, that old lady's coughing," and then eventually you realize, holy shit, has she been? It's like you don't quite realize consciously. You're just like, oh wait, that person has been coughing the entire movie.
Yeah.
It was like in the Super Bowl when I was really bothered by that one guy going.
Yes.
In the audience.
You were not the only one. That was like a thing.
You
on the
guys thought
internet.
I was crazy.
I
and then
did think, yeah.
Turned out there was a Reddit thread about the one guy who was.
Woo!
And I actually revisited that Reddit the other day because apparently you can check all the things you've people have liked on your upvoted on your
Yes,
Reddit.
yeah.
And I the most upvotes I've ever gotten was on that thread where I was like, I'm so happy I found you people. I thought I was losing my mind.
Nuts.
And somebody figured out that he would woo at very specific plays like when Denver had the ball in there. Yeah.
The power of Reddit, if used for nothing important, is massive.
Yeah. Anyway, so this woman's coughing. And finally people are like, lady, come on. You gotta be lady. She's like, I'm that. And then so finally they get the usher. The usher comes out and it's like, again, this is the theater run by children.
Yeah.
This was like a 7-year-old usher, and he just came out. He's like, excuse me, ma'am, can you?
I'm Spider-Man.
And she just starts going, I have cancer. I'm dying. I can't help it.
Oh, God.
I have lung cancer and I'm dying. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Oh.
And we're all just looking at each other. And the kid doesn't know what to say. And the kid's just like, I know that's horrible. I'm sorry. But, you know, for the rest of the movie, everybody else. And she's like, what do you want me to do? I'll be dead soon. I'm dying. And everybody just started laughing. We're trying not to laugh, but we're all like, because thank God she's in the very back row.
Yeah,
but we're all just like, it's sad that she's dying.
Of course,
but it was the combination of her using that as an excuse and her delivery, and this poor kid's like, like what do you do? What do you do if you're a 17-year-old kid? Like, I don't know what
that same thing. It's the awkward situation where you can't really laugh. That makes it so much more funny.
I don't know what I would do if I was him, and I'm a 31-year-old with lots of social experience, and I'm very good at reading people and dealing with people.
Yeah,
and like I can maybe navigate my way through this. Yeah, this kid is barely talked to an adult in his life, you know, and and she's just like, I'm dying. What do you want? And eventually she got up.
You sound like Mo doing his impersonation of Lucille Ball from the Simpsons episode where he's selling like the clams.
And she's just like, I just want to watch the movie before I die.
Oh my God. That's equal parts heartbreaking and hilarious.
And I was thinking, it's like, look, all right, I'm a diehard Rocky fan.
Right.
I really want to watch this Rocky movie, but I'll be dead in 6 months of lung cancer. I got to see this movie.
Are you talking about yourself or this woman?
I'm putting myself in her mindset.
Okay, I got it.
So I'd just be like, you know, it sucks that I'm dying, but it's not fair to the other 100 people in the theater. I got to wait for it to be on video. Right? Isn't that the right thing to do if you're dying of cancer? Unless that's your one wish. If your make-a-wish was to see Creed in a crowd, in a theater full of people and ruin the movie for everybody else, okay.
I think if you are gonna, you're gonna cough a lot during that movie, whatever reason it is, lung cancer or just you have a cold, you come with a lot of water and a bunch of cough drops, and you go to the time that you can do that you think will be the least crowded. I think that's the right play.
Don't bring your baby. You can't get a babysitter.
No, don't bring your fucking baby to any movie over
ever.
PG.
No, any movie, even if it's G. If it's an infant, they don't care if it's G.
You're right. Infants aren't remembering going to the movies.
If you need a carriage in the aisle. No, it sucks you can't get a babysitter, but maybe you should have wore a condom. Like seriously, do not bring your it's kind of granted that if you have a baby, you don't get to go to the movies or do nice things for the next year or two unless you have a babysitter.
Right. They should have at the movies, you could be able to rent some sort of soundproof box that I guess it would need to have air holes. So I guess it couldn't be soundproof, but you could just put the baby in it and you hold the box. Yeah. And you see the baby crying, and you're like, that's a shame, but Iron Man is fighting Captain America, and I need to watch this.
Yeah, exactly. No, don't bring your babies.
No, don't let your babies grow up to go to the
movies. You're right, though. You totally shouldn't bring kids to Team America, a guy brought his 7-year-old daughter.
The worst is R-rated movies.
When you have to sit next to the 7-year-old, and there's hardcore fucking going on.
It's puppets at least, but it is pretty hardcore.
It's still awkward with a 7-year-old stranger next to me.
Right. I don't understand the people who bring the young kids to the R-rated movies.
In terms of the rage and fighting with other people, these aren't real stories, but we're kicking and screaming. There was a guy talking in front of us, and he wasn't just talking. He wasn't just texting, because this was 2007 or whatever.
Yeah.
He had a full cell phone conversation. Like
people do that now. And people FaceTime at the movies.
Yeah, and he's just like, yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm watching this Will Ferrell movie. Yeah. And we're finally the guy, because I'm just so passive. I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah.
And the friend of the friend that was with me finally goes, yo, shut up. And the guy just turns around and goes, shut up, family. And first of all, that's the first time I ever heard family used. And I thought it was a one-off thing until...
That's a thing?
Well, the last year or two, it's definitely become more...
shut up, family?
Not shut up, but family. Like, yo, what's up, family? What's up, fam?
But you wouldn't... That's people that you're close with. You'd say, I've heard fam.
It was weird. It was weird for him to use it as
I've never heard it as a derogatory term.
We took it as, at least at the time, it's like he was saying, we're just stuffy white people. We're like a
I guess.
family with a white
right.
picket fence. I don't know.
I guess.
But
I don't know.
anyway, he was so
We are stuffy white people.
he was so mad at us.
Yeah.
He was so mad at us for not being okay with him having a full cell phone conversation in this theater.
Yeah.
That just baffles my mind. I hate people so much.
I hate people so much.
And then
Is
the,
right.
the other one was there was a guy, we saw a Scarface 20th anniversary thing.
Okay.
It was me and this girl I was dating, and this is a whole other story I could get into some other point because there was like a Q&A after.
Yeah.
But there was a big, huge Scarface fan, like 3, 4, 5 rows back, and he was quoting the entire movie. I'd never seen Scarface.
I've still never seen
So
Scarface.
it was really
but,
cool to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
And he's quoting the entire movie. He's just saying the lines,
just saying the
like
lines.
a half beat before the...
That's how I watch The Simpsons, and people get mad if they watch it with me.
Yeah, but that's it.
It took a while to wean myself off of
He's
that.
saying like a half beat ahead of it, and it's just so annoying. And I was getting
Yeah.
so mad. I was still getting so mad, and he sounded like he was right behind me.
Yeah.
So finally, I just lost it, and then I
Uh-oh.
just turned around. And I said, "Shut the fuck up!"
Yeah.
And I realized it was like acoustics. He was like 12 rows behind, and there was just 2 like 10-year-olds behind me.
Oh, why
And
are 10-year-olds watching Scarface?
They were so scared, and the girl I was with was so mad at me for cursing out.
man.
I
That's
felt-
why you're not dating
I
anymore.
felt, remind me to tell the story of the Q&A after. It was
Okay.
I guess there was nothing. Whatever. I will save it.
All right. Well, you can tell me personally. I think that's it for the Blair Witch Project. I guess we just really wanted to talk about movie-going
I guess we
experiences.
should mention. So the parody, they parodied.
It was parodied endlessly.
But they mostly parodied this one specific scene where she's
last
crying
scene,
into
yeah.
the camera, and there's like snot running down
So
her nose.
she knows that this is the end of the road for her. She's lost in the woods. Her friends are whatever's happening to her friends. She talks directly into the camera. You can see up her nose. You see little boogies, and she's shining a light right in her face. There's tears streaming down her eyes. It's been parodied so many times. You must have seen a parody.
Did it, and Scary Movie was a huge hit when it came out.
Yes.
And I did not find it funny in the slightest.
No, me neither.
And I remember it was Sherry O'Terry doing the spoof, and there was like CGI, really fake-looking CGI green snot pouring out of her nose.
Yeah, that was not great.
I just want to see if Blair Witch's Wikipedia has any like real esoteric trivia.
Yeah.
On September 2009, the writers announced their intent to do Blair Witch 3.
Oh.
That was
But when
7
do you-
years ago. I don't know if that's actually...
Well, it says as of January 2015, Blair Witch 3 is still currently in talks. Eduardo Sanchez has stated that the film is, quote, inevitable.
It sounds like Alex Winter talking about Bill and Ted
Yeah,
3. It's like, it's not going to happen, guy. Although Bill and Ted 3 might actually happen.
That's someone who's been beaten down by the system. Like he tried to make other movies, and they have not been anywhere near as popular.
I have some really good screenplays.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a movie made. It's fucking hard, and I'm a nobody. This guy
Right.
made one of the biggest movies of all time, and he can't get his fucking movie made.
Well, he did make. I mean, I didn't see Lovely Molly, but from what I heard, it was not very good. Yeah. Let's see how much Blair Witch 2 made
Oh, I remember that Shadow of the Blair Witch. That was a mockumentary on site.
on the Sci-Fi Channel. I remember
on
that
Sci-Fi
too.
Channel, and that was pretending that the things that happened in Blair Witch that the footage
Right.
was real.
Yeah.
That was a really cool marketing idea.
It was, and I believe they did it again with Signs or some M. Night Shyamalan movie where it was like,
They pretend everything.
or maybe it was Lady in the Water. Where it was like, M. Night Shyamalan has ESP, and it was like, completely bullshit.
Well, I mean, found footage, like we said, it's much more immersive, and you really do get into it.
Yeah.
I remember when Independence Day came out in '96,
Mm-hmm.
Fox aired a half-hour special that was like a news report about the alien invasion, and it gives
Yes,
you the
I remember that.
heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
And I remember
Like War of the Worlds.
Yeah, and I remember being mad at it that it spoiled it because when I had seen the trailers, I don't remember what I had seen, but I was super excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Just the idea of giant spaceships was really cool. I remember the
Absolutely.
big cardboard cutout in the movie theater was the first time I'd ever even heard of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this? This
like, I
looks
gotta
awesome.
see this movie. And it was awesome.
Because that was it. There was no way to really find out about movies unless you saw trailers at the movies because there was no internet.
There's no internet back in the day.
Yeah, you didn't know about a movie until there was TV commercials.
Yeah.
And I was super excited about Independence Day, and I was like, how the fuck are we going to stop these aliens? That's impossible.
Yeah.
And then this Fox half-hour special.
Jeff Goldblum, he knows what's up.
Well, they revealed that we had one of their spaceships from Area 51, and I was just like, oh, man, that's how they're going to do it.
Why would they reveal that in this little stupid
I don't
news
know.
report thing? That's
I
like a
don't
big moment. All right, whatever. Since we're just talking generally about movies at this point, we're probably not going to do another topic. What do you think about Independence Day 2 coming out? resurgence. Is that what it
I'm a
is?
huge Independence Day fan.
Me
I'm
too.
sure
I've
that's a
seen it
topic in
so many
there.
times.
I'm sure it's a topic.
It definitely is.
We'll,
I've seen it in the
talk
list.
about why we love it so much.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan, and I really have like zero interest in this movie. And
I haven't even seen. I think I watched the trailer once, maybe. I don't really remember it. I'm just not that into it.
I also, as much as I love it, and I really like the Godzilla remake as well.
I didn't see that one.
I'm not. I just don't have faith in Roland Emmerich. Is that his name?
Yes, that is his name.
I don't really have faith that he can make a good movie.
You didn't like The Day After Tomorrow?
I did. I really did not like that movie, and
me
I
neither.
didn't like 10,000 BC.
I didn't see that one because
sort
I didn't
of
like the other
watched
movies.
his Shakespeare movie, but I don't remember it, so I don't know if I watched
What was it called? It was like Unwritten or Unnamed or something. It was about the conspiracy that Shakespeare didn't exist or something, right?
And it has a battle scene at the end.
Of course it does.
think-
Shakespeare was famous for his battles.
I don't
He used
remember
to
it.
shake a spear. That's how he got his name.
I don't know. I'm not just at all excited. Although after Independence Day came out, one of the first novels, quote unquote, that I wrote was when I would fill up a spiral notebook with a pencil.
Yeah.
And I filled up 2 actually, and I wrote this 350-page
The Jack Wars.
novel called Self-Destruction.
Okay.
And it was pretty much a remake of Independence Day, but from a New York point of view, sort of. And it also incorporated this Weekly World News article that I had read about
Was it about Bad Boy?
well, I read this article about an internet hacker who took control of the nuclear missiles.
Oh, okay.
And I
So like a war game situation.
I thought it'd be really cool if aliens came, hacked our internet, and fired all our nuclear missiles up in the air, and then had them come straight back down and blow us all up to soften us up.
I think that was the plot of the movie Hackers.
Really?
No, I don't know. No, we've not seen it.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I wrote this book about that, and it was an alien invasion and all that.
Yeah.
And then I started work on the sequel, which I was like, nobody would ever think to do a sequel to Independence Day. And
Yeah,
I
surely.
called it Civilizations. And in mine, it was about a spaceship that had crash landed on Earth in the 16th century.
Okay.
It was a huge science ship, and they basically built an underworld society for hundreds of years while they planned their revenge for crashing into our planet. They were mad at us for getting in their way or whatever.
So wait a minute. The aliens from Independence Day landed on Earth in 16...
It's totally different aliens. This is a
okay,
self-contained universe.
Aliens landed on
It's the only
Earth in
it's a-
1600
yeah.
and built a city, and then we're cutting to the modern day and like see
Yeah,
what
exactly.
happened?
They've
That's
been
a pretty
living
cool
for
idea.
generations, and they wanted revenge on the Earth for getting in their way.
I guess. Okay.
And they also, since they were living under the water for 300 years, they learned how to control the ocean. So they also flood the coast with tsunamis. That's a
Okay.
big part. Like I have New York City getting destroyed.
I think I would rather see this movie than I would rather see Independence Day 2.
I have a really creepy scene where the World Trade Center gets destroyed and everybody's covered in
Well,
gray
Jack,
ash.
we lived through that scene.
Yeah. No,
And it was very creepy.
Well, I
as
remember
accurate.
my dad found it after 9/11. He was just like, "We got to show this to people. This is crazy." Well, like what? I was just like, "Dad, there's probably been a ton of movies where
Jackie
the World Trade
boy,
Center was
You're
exploded."
like Nostradamus.
So anyway, there was this group of science aliens that lived on. So I came up with this idea called Civilizations, and the idea was that it was going to take place hundreds of years in the future. Where Earth is this futuristic society, and it took hundreds of years for the alien civilization where they found out that like, holy shit, these people killed our guys. Let's
Yeah.
go get them. And it's like, if you thought it was bad for us to fight one big spaceship full of these guys, a few generations actually expanded.
Right.
Imagine it was planet on planet warfare, and that's what this book was going to be about.
pretty cool.
And I never wrote it, but the one idea I had was that. If I really do not understand orbital mechanics and stuff, it's kind of just hard for me to wrap my head
It's
around.
like G equals M plus
But
1
my
or
idea was
something.
that when the alien fleet comes at us,
Yeah.
if we were looking up at the sky at them or whatever, or from the International Space Station, which I had Space Station Kier in my thing instead of Space Station Mir
Right.
in my first novel where it gets destroyed, which I think was done in. It was done in a few different movies and Call of Duty.
I'm sure it was.
Anyway, so when you see the aliens coming at you, they're upside down. Because my idea was when they took off from their planet, for whatever reason,
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that actually is.
I don't know if that would make sense.
I have a tough time picturing the universe. It's a sphere, I guess.
I
but,
also have a tough time
like-
picturing the universe.
like are there like. Supposedly the universe is fairly flat. Like the up down is only a few hundred light years compared to
Well,
the rest. Is that? I don't.
We may be going beyond our scope as
But,
90s
so
guys.
So like there's stuff. If we go towards
I
the
think-
sun or we go away from the sun, but like what's up? What's above us?
Well, I think in theory it's supposed to be infinite in every direction, or maybe not infinite,
Right.
but you know,
Observable
I've seen
universe.
things about like a donut-shaped universe, a lot like Homer Simpson said once on The Simpsons, where kind of as you're going up, you're curving through space-time.
Okay, so the universe is round, basically.
Sort of. Well, I mean, look, this is stuff that like I don't even know that we can comprehend
all
with
right,
our
so-
little monkey brains.
So, I mean, it's interesting for one thing. That, if you picture the solar system, you have the sun in the middle.
Are you going to somehow work a self-driving car into this?
No, you have the sun in the middle. You got the planets rotating around the sun.
Right.
More or less, we're all in the same plane, right? Like Jupiter and Saturn, they're pretty much at the same plane relative to the sun as us.
Well,
they might be a little higher, a little lower.
I think you're right, but I'm no astronomy expert, despite the fact that
So-
Bill Nye taught one
right.
of my astronomy
So
classes.
they're floating around us.
Yeah.
So Jupiter at any point during the year could be either on our side of the sun. So if the sun's in front of us, Jupiter's behind us. Or Jupiter could be on the total opposite side of the sun. So if we're looking at the sun, Jupiter's actually behind the sun because it's
Right.
spinning behind it. All right. So there's your directions. You have towards the sun, away from the sun.
Yeah.
So what's up? Are there also other galaxies?
Yeah, I think
up?
yeah, there are.
Okay.
But there is no up, because what is up? Just
Above us.
relative to, I guess, the axis between the sun and the
I guess
Earth.
I'm using the sun plane as our random,
Right.
for the sake of having a POV.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that anyone knows the answer to these
So, like, my
questions,
point is-
but I don't think it's a linear like
Okay,
up
so
and down.
if
It's just kind of
if an alien civilization was to invade us,
yeah,
they could be coming from up. They could be coming from pretty much any angle.
right. So you're saying like here's Earth, they could be coming from this way or this way, and no one can see what I'm
I
doing.
guess.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I once tried to look at a map of Federation space on like Star Trek Federation.
Right.
Like what is the territory the Federation has as opposed to the Klingons and the Romulans?
Uh-huh.
And it was weird. I never thought about it before, but it was like a wedge because it's not a flat space.
it's
is
not.
a
Yeah. Right. Time is a flat circle, but not space.
I really like. It's nice that the humanities come easier to me. But I really
Well-
wish I could wrap my head better around like mathematical and science things.
Well, but you're saying things that are like great mysteries of the universe, and you're like, I wish I could understand
Yeah,
that.
but astrophysicists and stuff like that, they understand at least the laws.
I don't-
the basics to make those predictions.
I don't know that even that's
I don't
right.
have a grasp of not the laws. Like they don't know how the
Right.
universe works, but
Right.
they have at least a
They
grasp
have
of
theories.
of the geometry. They have a grasp of orbital mechanics.
Right. I don't know anything about orbital mechanics.
It's complicated to fire a rocket to Mars because you have to figure out the perigee and all that. I
Right.
couldn't do that. I mean, and I know that's not my field of study, but if I
Right.
went to school and majored in that, I would struggle with that.
Yeah,
my brain is
yeah.
not wired for that kind of math.
yeah, I mean, I don't enjoy that kind of
So
stuff.
I'm saying
I
it's-
prefer to
I would
make
kinda
dick
wish,
jokes on a
I kind of
podcast.
wish I had that. Like I wish, like in the Matrix where he learns kung fu. I would love if I could just learn to
Orbital
understand
mechanics, just plug it in.
or just math, like just
Demolition Man
that
style.
kind of math. Like I read a riddle last night. I couldn't sleep because I was still hyped up from Civil War.
Yeah.
and it wasn't a riddle, even though it was this riddle blog. It was just
please ask me the
it
riddle.
was a straight up.
I'm
It
excited.
was a straight up math question. And
okay.
it was just like,
okay.
imagine you're in an office lobby. And
Easy. I'm
there's
in
a-
one every day.
All right, and there's an elevator.
Okay.
You don't know how many. It's a random amount of people. P, lowercase
Okay,
p. and-
okay.
And there's a lowercase amount. There's a lowercase. There's a random amount of floors in the building. Lowercase f.
Okay.
I'm paraphrasing here. So you don't know how many people. You don't know how many floors. The relationship between people and floors could be either or. There could be more people than floors, more floors than people.
Right. Because you don't know.
So what would the average, what is the best guess, the average number if you get on the elevator? Oh, and everybody could either go on the same floor, different floors, whatever. What is the average number? What's the right number if you get on the elevator? How many buttons are lit? How many floors have been pressed? And
If I'm the first one on the elevator, 0.
Right,
Trick question.
It's after it takes off. He even specifies, or she. I was just like, I took
I
about
don't
30
think,
seconds.
I don't
and
think
was
that
just,
can be maybe you're not giving everything that
I'm
we
thinking
need.
I think it's a probability statistics. I think you have to do a graph to figure it out based on his other riddles on
but
the site.
But there's nothing to do. You're saying there's an unknown number of people and an unknown number of floors.
I know. I went through this exact thing, and then after a minute, I was just like, it's not that there's something missing. It's just that I don't know how to do this. I do not know how to solve for X here.
But are you saying like what's the most? Yeah, I don't even understand because there's a potential
let me see if I can
infinite.
Google it real quick. I don't think I'm missing anything. I mean, I was tired, but I read it on Flipboard.
Flipboard.
My favorite.
magazine
one of my
app.
favorite magazine apps.
I've seen it.
Let's see. Elevator, floor, math problem. Is that a good way to Google this?
Let's find out what comes up when you Google elevator floor math problem. This is exciting podcasting. 7 elevators stop at 6 floors. Math forum.
This guy definitely didn't have numbers.
Okay. Math magic. Elevator math.
I'm gonna try.
The elevator problem from the North Carolina School of Science.
Here it is.
Oh, it's from 538. Okay.
This might be like
Or
a
it
relink.
got picked up or
Yeah.
something.
It's from the Riddler. That's where I
What the
read
hell
it.
is the Riddler?
He's this guy that does math riddles.
I mean, I know Edward Nigma.
Okay, what do we have? 2 minutes left on the clock here?
Something like that. So we're going to solve this riddle in the last
let
few
me just
minutes.
check the time. All right, we have 2 minutes exactly. 2 minute warning.
Okay.
All right. In a building's lobby, some number, capital N. I got the case wrong.
That's fine. That's what's throwing me off. That's
Capital
what it
N
was.
of people get on an elevator that goes to some number M of floors. There may be more people than floors or more floors than people. Each person is equally likely to choose any floor independently of one another. When a floor button is pushed, it will light up. What is the expected number of lit buttons when the elevator begins its ascent?
This can be solved? I don't.
That's what I'm getting. That's why it's just like I couldn't. You could give me 10 years to figure this out, and I never would.
Is there an answer for this yet, or is
no,
this like
it's next week. But
Okay.
I'm guessing.
tune in next week, listeners?
Based on the other problem, I'm guessing you have to plot these on a line graph, and you will
Yeah.
figure out this. It's a statistics question, and I don't get statistics.
I don't understand how that could possibly be answered.
The answer is 1. How do you dial 1? 1-800-0001.
Wait, the answer is 1?
No, that's from Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh.
How do you dial 1? 000. Wait, so seven wives and 7 days. No, it was one man. It was just the one guy. What guy? Who cares about the guy? It was just the one guy. Go to the fair. What about the wives? Who cares about the wives?
I'm really enjoying you recapping the riddles from Die Hard with a Vengeance. Do you want to do the jug one?
Not again.
Got
no.
3, 5. All right, we got to get to 4.
We've done that. I've done it.
If I was going
way
to say
too many
knives, I met a
times.
man with 7 wives.
7 wives had 7 cats.
7
dogs?
wives had 7 kids. The 7 kids had 7 dogs. 7
How many-
dogs had
how
7
many
puppies.
go
How many
to
people
say
are going to say knives? 1, you motherfucker.
How do you dial 1?
Now I get it. 1-800-0001.
It was in front of the Grace Papaya.
You could
on
steal
70th
City
Street.
Hall.
You could steal City Hall. Yeah, no, I don't. And I was mad because I don't follow this thing. Again, Flipboard just gives me random articles.
Yeah.
So now I got to like remember in a week to look up the answer to this thing.
Yeah, now I'm
But
going to check out The Riddler.
I'm guessing it's a statistics thing.
I'm going to Google The Riddler, and
I'm
don't
guessing,
think it's going to be the first result.
Considering we're on fan base, I wouldn't be surprised if one of you guys get it and just put it in the Reddit, and
Put it
you
in
will
the
get a
Reddit.
big thank you from me.
Yep. All right, time for our next topic, which is
No.
the end of the show.
You got us.
Oh, well.
Gene!
We really, he got me again. We really had a lot to say about the Blair Witch Project. So thanks, guys, for listening to 90s Percentile. Jack, as we always end our show, what did you learn today?
I learned that Guns N' Roses, or actually Slash had a solo album, but I can't remember what the name of the Slash guy was. What was it?
It was Guione Steers.
Guione Steers. I couldn't remember it. I could not remember it. Guione Steers.
That's why you're not good at riddles, Jack. I'm sorry. There's a lot of math involved.
Yeah, so I learned that Guione Steers has an entire Slash Fix solo album by
Yep.
Slash.
He certainly does. I learned that the Riddler has given up his life of crime and is now trying to solve this puzzle about the floors and the people.
I always considered Enigma a bit of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I think recently, well, maybe not recently, but there were definitely comics. The show is over. Why shouldn't we be talking about this now?
I think in Kingdom Come,
Paul
was the
Dini's
first-
run
was-
had him as
yeah.
like working with the police, and it was really good.
Yeah, so I like the idea that he just retired from crime and has like a
Right.
blog where he gives shout outs or t-shirts to people
Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
solve his riddles.
Nowadays, and you should read Zero Year, which is a really great Batman arc with the Riddler. He just wants to prove that he's better than Batman. He doesn't really care about crime. He just wants to be
Right.
the best.
Why wouldn't
And
they
I
call
love
it
that.
Year Zero?
Because they
year
didn't.
one
They were
is
trying to distance himself from year one.
Then don't call it 0 Year.
Well, it was.
That's like what, Guy
If you read
Steers.
Gotham
what was it?
Central, which I gave you 2 years ago, we'll
if,
talk about 0
That's like
Year.
if Guione Steers named himself Guione Steers, but wanted to distance himself from both Guy Pearce and who was the other one? What's going on?
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark.
We we really lost this episode. And I love that we're like, we're just going to do a 60-minute timer so that the episode will end nice and quick. And now we're just talking about the Riddler.
Now we're just trying to remember what we talked about 60 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's tough. All right. So we end every show. If you do like the show, some people like this show.
Yeah.
And they're leaving reviews on iTunes, and you guys should do that if you can. And we want to read one for you right now, as we have been doing. Usually a guest does it, but we don't have one today, so I'm going to do it. We got Top Notch Podcast by Andrew's World. Thank you, Andrew's World. And he gives us a 5-star and says, best show on the We Podcast Network.
Hey, well...
Really putting us down for the other show that we put a lot more work into.
Really?
Thanks a lot, Andrew's
This
World.
one's the better one?
This one?
Not the one I slaved 12 hours over every week editing. Also, props to, I don't know if this is 90s slang, but I just love top notch as a
Top notch, yeah,
as
I
a
use top
adjective
notch fairly
for
often.
Yeah, top notch is great.
I use MailChimp.
Do you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Is that how we end the show? I don't remember.
With a MailChimp ad that we're not getting paid for? No, that's not how we end the show.
All right. If you want to follow the show, it's at 90s Percentile. And personally, I'm at Then Dan Says.
And personally, I'm at Jackie No Breaks.
And my name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and we'll see you in another decade
Watching Civil War.
watching Civil War.